Okay guys, I want to do a video today to share some things that I've learned over the past 3 years. I think I'm going to include this part of the Understanding series. One day, about 2 years ago, I was playing with a artificial intelligence. It's a little application on the iPad that you can ask it questions and it searches the internet and finds the answer for you. It's really good when you're defining things or multiplications or calculations. You just ask it and it finds the answer for you. And sometimes if it doesn't find the answer, it'll look for it, and then later it's like, oh, I have the answer for that, and it's incredible. Well, just playing around one day, I asked what was the meaning of the hex symbol. And a hex is any six-sided. Well, the artificial intelligence came back right away and says, oh, that's simple. It is reductionism. Well, I had never heard of reductionism. I didn't know what that was. So then I said, define reductionism. And she came back with an answer that said, everything in the world that we know of, in the physical world, can be divided into 6 simple parts. For example, 1, now I have 2 parts. 2, now I have, 4 parts? Yep. 3, now I have 6 parts. So, reductionism is the idea that everything can be broken into 6 simple parts. And I thought, man, that's incredible. I was amazed that she even gave me such an answer. So the meaning of a hex symbol is reductionism. And if you really look at this, they use it in science, math, medical, all of these things. And what they'll do is they'll take something and break it down into 6 simple parts. Well, there is an opposite of reductionism. The opposite of reductionism is holism. Holism takes into account, and this is where this is going to come in and be sort of interesting. Holism is the idea that the sum of the parts, so if this was divided into 6 parts, this is including the spirit. The spirit. Reductionism leaves out spirit. There's no spirit in reductionism. And this is where I say the 7th, which is the center, is the spirit. Okay? And it kind of works like this. Here is a stone. My body, this stone can be broken into 6 simple components. I don't know, carbon, nitrogen, iron, calcium, carbon. I don't know if that's 6 or not. Okay. My body can be broken down into the exact 6 elements that is in this stone. So the difference between me and this stone, I have spirit. Every breath I take is the Spirit of God. You see, if you take this stone and over time it turns into sand, the sand of time, and so, but when God formed man, he breathed the spirit of life into the stone, so to speak. So what we have is, this is the dead. When Jesus says, let the dead bury the dead are reductionist. They deny the spirit. Holism takes in, yes, there's carbon and nitrogen and iron and calcium and 6 basic chemicals, so to speak. But the spirit is what makes that stone get up and move. So, the world teaches us 6s and 12s. Okay? In this world, we have 6-pack and a 12-pack. Okay? We have 6 volt and we have 12 volt. We have a half a dozen and we have a dozen. We have 6 months and we have 12 months. People go to basic public education is 12 years. There is 12 hours on the clock. You see, and I mean, this list is an incredible list. I had started a list, and every time I thought of a 6 and 12 in the world, then I would put it in there. And it's a very large list. But what is happening is everything in the world tries to keep you thinking like this. Reduced, only 6. Okay, but the 6 leaves out the spirit. Holism, you see, and this is just funny because it kind of makes me think holism, holy, whole, because of the Phoenician phonics, the sounds of these words, but they're spelled differently. So this is, and here's the thing that gets so crazy. It's the idea, reductionism is like the idea of taking God, and first he's divided. Good, evil. Then it's sort of like this. Oh yeah, well that's right, wrong. Then he's divided again. So it's the idea of dividing God. You see, and you can't divide God because God is holy. He is whole. He is holism. It is physical and spiritual. I was talking to someone the other day, and we were talking about the concept of ye may eat of all the fruit of the trees of the garden. So here, man, we got all these trees. Okay, all kind of trees here, man. And you can have them all. Except for one. The tree of knowledge. Okay, because the tree of knowledge puts off a fruit of judgment. Okay, so when you're contaminated with this, you eliminate a lot of the trees. Now, all through Scripture, we have the concept of, and in prayers, the Lord preparest a table before me. Well, when you get past the judgment, all of these trees that have been eliminated are now on the table. Think about what knowledge does. Knowledge is how you make decisions. It's how you choose things. Is the water hot? Is it cold? Is it good? Is it evil? Is it rich? Is it poor? Is it smart? Is it dumb? Okay, so I'm just going to jump back real quick. It'd be very good if everybody, I use like a Bible Gateway, sometimes Biblos, and I use the King James Version, and then I will use a keyword search. If you search the word stone and read the scriptures that includes the word stone, they're very interesting. This is where for me, the Spirit would give me like a word each morning. And as I searched that word, I gained understanding that I did not have. You see, Jacob stood a stone and anointed it with oil. Well, oil is symbolic of spirit. So to me, this is where Jacob was coming to the understanding that the difference between him and the stone, he had spirit, but the stone did not. So he anointed it with oil. Now I'm going to take you on a conspiracy theory. A corporation is a living entity that has no spirit. So in this weird world that I walk in, it's also where the idea come from to create corporations, corpse, living, dead. They're corpse, they're just bodies, just stones, but they have no spirit. Our entire world is ran by stones, not living spiritual beings. You know, Jesus referred to the stone quite often. You know, he called each of the disciples a stone, a rock. God says, if you want to build an altar unto me, apply not the tools of iron to the stone, for you will pollute it. Well, here's the idea. I walked out into the yard. I picked this up in the driveway. Okay? This stone is perfect just the way God made it. So if I wanted to take these stones and stack them up for an altar unto God, that would be great. But if my ego looks at this stone and says, well, you know, I can make it better. I'm going to cut this side off, and I'm going to cut that side off, and I'm going to cut this side and cut that side, and I'm going to square it up. So now I can stack them much nicer. Okay, that is my ego saying I can do better than God. The stone is perfect just the way it is. Now, if you want to look at masons, masons work with stones. They square them, they stack them, they build buildings with them, temples. I don't think it's a good program. Okay, just a few little tidbits, some things to think about. Y'all have a great day and happy holidays, I guess. I don't celebrate them.